first things first with Bart Scott, we're going viral. Teddy Bridgewater threw for over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns in the Saints win yesterday. The backup quarterback is now 3-0 as New Orleans started this season.
Give him 20.
Which means Drew Brees can take his time coming back from injury, but don't tell that to Drew Brees, who posted this video of himself thrown with the thumb looking good to go. Do we have a situation?
Well, no, there's no situation. Okay. When Brees is healthy, he'll come back. I do think that's an undersized football. He's not. Oh
yeah, he's palming the whole thing.
No, he's not throwing with a regulation ball, but he is a little ahead of schedule.
We know, Drew.
And see, we said that the Saints just needed, if they could go 3-3 in 6 games without Brees. Well, they're 3-0. Yep. I mean, they've already done what they need to do with winnable games coming up. So even if
Brees told me this last year, Jenna, he said, I don't get a lot of attention, but I believe my staff is just as good. My nutritionist is just as good as anyone else. I don't talk about it, but I'm going to play a long, long time, too. He said, I ain't mentioning no names, but
I wonder who it was.
And secretly, you know, he has pride in his throwing yards record, and Brady's starting to catch up on it, and Brees is going to play because he wants to own some of those records, too. If he gets 2 Super Bowls on his resume, then he's able to put himself in elite status, maybe catapult a guy like Peyton Manning as far as great quarterbacks in the league on that Mount Rushmore.
You saying something today, man. You got the right stuff.
Monday, have me back every Monday.
If you keep yelling at me,
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I am loving watching Teddy Bridgewater play.
He's making himself some money.
Fun athlete to watch.
He's going to be a starting quarterback somewhere next year.
He's great to root for because we know the story, and we know he's made himself some money. So those teams like Tampa or maybe Tennessee, where you got to make a decision on Mariota, you bring in some competition. Give Teddy that
super
business.
Humble guy too. Really, really good guy.
Absolutely. You see, he got the game ball after last week's win. He was crying.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to watch.
Good stuff, Jenna.
On to Sunday Night Football. Chiefs down. Chiefs lose 19-13. Here is Patrick Mahomes after the game.
They played good defense. I mean, they played man coverage. They rushed with 4 people, and they found ways to get pressure and to cover long enough. And so, for us, I mean, Detroit did it last week. New England did it in the playoffs. I mean, we're gonna have to beat man coverage at the end of the day, and we got the guys to do it. So now it's about just going out there and executing whenever teams present it to us.
All right, Bart. There's a blue plan. There's a blueprint for it. The Colts found it.
Blueprint plan.
You got all that?
Yeah, we got it. No problem.
You know where it worked? In my head.
No problem.
How did the Colts upset the Chiefs, Bart?
Well, Mahomes said it, a 4-man rush, which allows you to get 7 men in pass coverage, and you want to play press, but now that allows you to have 2 people deep. So it allows you to play tight man is what we always played against Tom Brady because it makes the throw have to be perfect. And it gives you somebody, if somebody messes up or gets beat immediately off the line of scrimmage.
Now, Bart, explain this to me, because typically those concepts don't go together. As far as 4-man rush, 3-man rush, those are the minimum amount of people you can rush, and playing typically zone behind it, that's a tremendous identity change from I'm only going to rush 4, but I'm going to play man-to-man behind that.
Because what happens is it's more of a matchup zone because you still have 2 zone defenders that can help anybody that gets hurt or anybody that's in distress, and you know who you're going to help based off the formation, based on the matchups, because a defender knows and a safety should know where the matchup that the quarterback wants to go to because they know, okay, well, we know that this guy is our 3rd corner, so we know this is where you're going to attack. So now you're able to change your coverages. You can run trap coverages. You can run where, okay, you got outside leverage, I got inside leverage. You can bump them at the line of scrimmage. You can run combination coverages and make the same defense look totally different at different times based on the formation. If I have trips to one side, then the backside I can lock up because you only have 2 guys, and you take your best defender or your worst defender and put it on their worst guy. And now also what they're doing is because you're not running the ball enough, I'm stopping the run in the light box because I'm disrespecting your offensive line.
Did we know the Colts defense was capable of doing that?
I didn't know they were capable of doing it without Darius Leonard. Yeah. They were without their best defensive player.
Yes.
Right. They banged up injuries all over the secondary. Only the Browns have a more injured secondary right now. Their star linebacker, Darius Leonard, was out. and they still manhandled the Chiefs because their defensive line annihilated the Chiefs' offensive line.
And they have two veterans on the outside. You think about Sheard, or you think about Houston, not letting the ball get outside.
Smart football player.
When you go up the middle, you get dirty yards. They force you to get the dirty yards, not to get the big explosive plays. We watched Shady McCoy have one big explosive run, but they're able to get the ball out and get turnovers. And what happens is when you hold the ball for 37 minutes, then you limit the opportunities that the Chiefs get to be explosive down the field, and you're forcing Mahomes to be special too much, right? It's great to make one or two special plays. The same thing make you laugh, make you cry, because on one of those last plays, he had, pirouetted and moved and went 3 different ways early in the first half, threw it across his body for the touchdown. It was beautiful. Tried it again, got sacked. So the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. You can't ask a player like Mahomes, I don't care how special he is, to be special all the time, because you can't have a play where, okay, drop back 5 yards, Mahomes, go be special, go get open. That's not a play.
Especially when, by the way, he was playing going into the game with a slightly gimpy ankle that became even more gimpy as we saw during the game.
First half, too.
Right. So you saw that once his mobility was limited, given the way they were getting pressure on the quarterback, he was limited. He had his worst game of the season. Now, he still managed not to turn the ball over and threw for 300 yards, but his worst game of the season, and most importantly, this is the first game since he's been the starting quarterback of the Chiefs. Their offense has been held in check. They've scored 26 points in every game he's ever played till last night, where they only scored 13. But this was, the Colts' defense was great, and their offense was great for their defense, because Chiefs only ran 12 plays in the first 27 minutes second half. The Colts kept the football. They kept running the football. The Chiefs went into the game, similar to last year, 31st in the NFL in rush defense. They have not been able to stop the run. So that, to me, is more of a concern blueprint-wise, because I don't think, well, maybe the Colts did set the blueprint for slowing down the Chiefs' offense, which was really the Lions' blueprint the week before, which was really the Patriots' blueprint from last season. But when the Chiefs get their left tackle and Tyreek Hill back and Sammy Watkins whenever he plays, that man-to-man coverage is not going to work as well. Eric Fisher will hold up better. The left guard hopefully won't get hurt during the game, and Tyreek Hill can split man coverage. But none of that matters if the offense is on the sideline. And the Chiefs could not, it was 3rd and short repeatedly. When they didn't pick up a 3rd down, it was 4th and inches. They went for those 4th downs, and the Chiefs could not get the requisite stops. The Chiefs were in this game in part because Tyrann Mathieu made a hell of a play. An interception when the Colts were driving to score. And the Chiefs could have lost last week. Like, the Chiefs could have lost against Detroit. They were fortunate not to. They had a 99-yard defensive touchdown to flip that game. So, yeah, until the Chiefs get healthy in particular, there are going to be games like this where they can be beaten if the offense doesn't do what it does most of the time, which is go high-flying and put you in a position where you get out of your run game.
If we were in college, we could use injuries as an excuse because it's acceptable.
Sure.
It's everywhere in the NFL. And we can't expect, oh, man, what if they come back? What if they get injured again? So they're only good if they're healthy. Like, this is a blueprint. Yes, this is what you want to do. Patty Mahomes has got to be able to decide, though. Every once in a while, he's got to be able to run. Last week, 4th down, they were in 2-man, which is still the same 4-man rush. Them safeties going to split. They're playing bump underneath, trying to rob everything. He decided to run. Last night, he was not a threat to run.
But you want to know why that worked before? Because the Lions were playing that old Tony Gonzalez, Vice Kelsey, and they got away with it a couple of times with the 2 linebackers. And then what happened is he recognized it, and the defense split it. Then he took off. The Colts didn't present that opportunity. They were pretty much bumping, Kelsey with one defender.
Right. Patty Mahomes is in the situation Aaron Rodgers is in. All right? When you said, hey, man, we want you to be magical, this is the way Aaron was when he was younger. And remember, that's what we like, oh, man, he's the greatest thrower ever. Oh, he's the GOAT. And then they started to catch up to him because now Aaron don't want to run. Why? Because he's had multiple injuries. Patty Mahomes, the answer is always to run, playing that type of defense and the threat of being able to run. Now, when Tyreek Hill was not in there, and Kelsey had an awful game. He had a couple drops. He was not on his game. So they didn't have typically the luxury of Tyreek Hill, number one wide receiver. Travis Kelsey, a number 1 wide receiver. They got those other guys. They're fast, but they're not good route runners. There's a reason why those other guys are backups. Straight line, if we were having a relay race, yes, they would be great. But if we went to the combine and put some cones in front of them and had them run some real wide receiver drills, no, that they're not. That is not their skill set. So we can't just assume Sammy Watkins is going to be healthy for the first time since Clemson. All right? So we just asked, the left tackle, if he's going to come back. But what if he gets injured again? Tyreek Hill has a very, very unusual chest injury. He's going to fall on his chest. What if that comes back? So be careful with this Patty Mahomes trying to be sensational all the time. We need a better game plan. We need an inside runner to be able to run and get first downs. And when you get to the red zone, you have to be more physical. 1 out of 3 in the red zone. Is this a blueprint? Yes. All the offensive dominated teams for the last 50 years, they all lose the same way. Ball control, turnovers, keep the ball away from them, no defense. It's hard to win championships with no defense.
Bart, thanks so much for hanging out today. Got it all out there.
First quarter, Bart, baby. I'm always good in the first quarter.
What has gone so
Monday,
wrong
baby.
for the Cowboys? Next on First Things First. Thanks, Bart.
No life.
Monday's good.